You give your cat the best food you can afford, the softest bed money can buy. Hours of your evening spent dangling a feather toy until your arm gives out. But none of that is what makes you their favorite person. You already know your cat loves you. You can feel it in the little things, the way they show up when you least expect it. But most owners never learn to actually read the signals their cat sends every single day. And a few of those signals are so easy to misread, as anger, as illness, as rejection, that owners end up hurting the bond without ever realizing it. Here's a quick test. If your cat has done 4 or more of the 15 things on this list, you're not just an owner. You're their chosen person. Some of what's coming will feel obvious the second you hear it. A few will genuinely surprise you, especially the ones most owners quietly worry mean the opposite of love. And stick around until number 1, because it's a moment almost every cat owner has felt at 2 a.m., alone in the dark, and never fully understood. Until now. Over the next few minutes, we're breaking down 15 real cat behaviors, back to back. The familiar ones you already know by sight, like licking, biting, and sleeping stretched out in front of the box fan, plus a few most owners never think to question. No guessing, no filler, just what animal behaviorists actually understand about the small, constant signals cats send us, and rarely get credit for. Let's start with something written all over your cat's tail, whether you've ever noticed it or not. Number 15, tail language, up versus down. 2 positions, 2 completely opposite meanings, and most owners only clock one of them. Tail held straight up, maybe with a little curl at the very tip. That's a confident, happy cat walking toward you on purpose. Glad to see you. Tail held low or tucked in tight between the legs. That's fear, anxiety, or a clear, please give me space. Often after something startling, a loud noise, or an unfamiliar visitor. Most owners only notice the tail when it's thrashing side to side in irritation. Really, it's talking constantly, in a language that's been sitting in plain sight the whole time. A straight-up greeting the second you walk through the door means something entirely different from a tail dragged low after a stressful car ride or a vet visit. Learn to glance at it first, before you even reach out to pet your cat, and you'll know exactly what kind of hello, or warning, you're about to get. Number 14, staring at you. Your cat sits across the room, locked onto your face, completely unmoving for what feels like 10 straight minutes. Most people find it a little unsettling, maybe even unnerving. Most of the time, it isn't. A steady, calm stare is often your cat simply keeping tabs on you. The same instinct that once tracked the movements of a trusted member of their group, back when knowing where everyone was mattered for survival. Sometimes it means, I want something, especially if you're standing anywhere near their food bowl. Sometimes it's just quiet company, a cat choosing to spend their attention on you instead of anything else in the room. The one time it's actually worth paying closer attention, a fixed, rigid stare paired with hissing, flattened ears, or a tense, coiled body isn't affection at all. That's a clear warning sign, and in that specific combination, it's worth listening to before you get any closer. Context is really the whole trick here. The same fixed gaze can mean 2 completely different things, depending on everything else happening around it. Number 13, sleeping in front of the box fan. You turn on the box fan for a hot afternoon, and within minutes, your cat is sprawled directly in front of it, sometimes for hours at a stretch. Most owners just assume it's random, a cat being a cat. It's usually not as random as it looks. Cats seem drawn to the steady hum and constant, predictable airflow, a combination many behaviorists link to the same soothing effect white noise has on plenty of animals, a break from the sudden, unpredictable sounds of a busy household. Add a cooling breeze on a body built to run warm under a full coat of fur, and you've got a spot your cat may end up guarding like prime real estate, claws out if anyone tries to move them off it. If your cat has ever beaten you to the exact same spot in front of the fan, every single time, you already know precisely what we're talking about. Number 12, licking you. Your cat starts licking your hand, your arm, sometimes even your hair. Slow, deliberate strokes with that rough, sandpaper tongue. Most people assume it's just grooming out of leftover habit, something automatic and meaningless. It's closer to something else entirely. Cats groom the members of their social group that they trust, a behavior researchers call allo grooming. And extending that same ritual to you means they've folded you into that inner circle, whether you asked for it or not. In their world, that rough little tongue is essentially saying, you're one of mine, and I'm going to take care of you the way I take care of myself. It's not always the most comfortable compliment you'll ever receive, especially on bare skin, and that rough tongue can genuinely sting after a minute or two. It's still one of the most sincere gestures a cat has to give, and it rarely happens with anyone your cat doesn't already trust completely, which is exactly why it feels different coming from them than from any other pet in the house. Number 11. Licking you, then biting you. The lick feels nice, warm, and rhythmic against your skin. Then, without any real warning, a quick, sharp nip. Most owners take it personally in the moment. What did I do wrong? Usually, the honest answer is nothing at all. Cats have a threshold for physical touch, and once that line gets crossed, even comfortable, welcome affection can flip into overstimulation in a heartbeat. The bite isn't a punishment, and it isn't sudden aggression out of nowhere. It's the clearest, most direct signal your cat has available. That was enough. Stop now. A gentle love nip actually feels very different from a truly aggressive bite once you know what to look for. No hissing beforehand, no flattened ears, no stiff body, just a quick, soft warning nip. Learn to spot the small shift in their body language right before it happens, and you'll rarely get caught off guard by it again. Number 10. Kneading. Your cat climbs into your lap and starts pressing their front paws into you, rhythmically, over and over, like they're kneading dough for bread. Most people call it a random little quirk, something cute but meaningless. It's actually older than that, rooted much further back. Kneading is the exact same motion kittens use against their mother's belly to stimulate milk flow, and plenty of cats simply never outgrow the behavior once they're grown. Choosing to knead you specifically, purring the whole time, eyes half closed, completely relaxed, is your cat handing you the exact comfort ritual they once gave the one being that kept them alive as a newborn, when trust wasn't optional. That's not a small thing to witness, even if your shirt ends up a little snagged afterward. And it's rarely the last sign of trust your cat will show you before the night is over. Number 9. Slow blink. You catch your cat's eyes across the room. Slowly, deliberately, their eyes half close, hold there for a second, and then open again. Most people assume it's just sleepiness, nothing more than a cat about to doze off. Researchers at the University of Sussex found something closer to real communication. Cats and humans who slow blink at each other are exchanging something remarkably close to a smile. A small, wordless signal of ease and safety. Try it tonight, if you haven't already. Find your cat's eyes, soften your own, and blink slowly back at them. There's a real chance they'll do it right back to you, an exchange with no sound and no obvious effort behind it. Cat people have a name for it, the cat kiss. It might genuinely be the closest thing to I love you your cat will ever say out loud, in a language built entirely on stillness. Number 8. Show butt and belly up. 2 rear-end signals, 2 different situations, and 1 simple rule that covers both. Watch closely, don't assume. Scratch a cat gently near the base of the tail, and plenty of them will lift their hindquarters right up into your hand almost immediately. That spot is packed with nerve endings. And for most cats, the lift is pure, uncomplicated enjoyment. Roll onto their back with belly fully exposed though, and that's a very different story. The belly protects nearly every vital organ a cat has, so showing it off is one of the biggest trust signals in their entire vocabulary. Not necessarily an open invitation to touch it. Reach in for a belly rub anyway and get swatted for your trouble. And your cat isn't confused, and they're not being mean. They said, I trust you enough to be this vulnerable, and you answered back with something they simply weren't ready for in that moment. Number 7. Bringing you gifts. You wake up to a dead mouse, or worse, a very much alive one, sitting proudly on your pillow, waiting for you to notice. Most people's first reaction is pure horror, understandably. But in the wild, mother cats bring prey back to the den to teach their kittens exactly how to hunt, step by step. And plenty of domestic cats never fully lose that deep-rooted instinct. They simply redirect it toward the humans they've come to consider family. That mouse on your pillow isn't a threat, and it isn't some kind of accident. It's a cat who has never once, in their entire life, watched you catch your own food, quietly deciding it's finally time someone stepped in to help. You don't have to like it, and you're allowed to be a little grossed out. Most owners are, at least the first few times. But it genuinely comes from the exact same place as everything else on this list. A cat trying, in the only language they have, to look after someone they consider theirs. Number 6. Chattering at birds. Your cat sits at the window, spots a bird, and their jaw starts going. Fast, clicking little chatters, almost like their teeth are vibrating on their own. Here's where we have to be honest with you. Nobody has fully agreed on exactly why this happens. Some researchers think it's frustration at prey they can see but can't physically reach. Others believe it mimics the precise jaw motion cats use for a killing bite, a kind of instinctive rehearsal running on autopilot. It might genuinely be both at once, layered on top of each other. What we do know for certain is this: it's not aggression directed at you, and it's not distress that needs fixing. It's your cat's hunting brain lighting up in real time, whether or not they ever actually catch anything at all. Next time you hear it, you're watching millions of years of instinct trying to squeeze itself through a single pane of glass. Number 5. Staying close when you're struggling. You're sick, or you're crying, or you're just having one of those days that feels heavier than usual, and your cat, who normally comes and goes exactly as they please, suddenly refuses to leave your side. This one isn't your imagination, and it isn't wishful thinking. Cats that are closely bonded to a person tend to be highly attuned to shifts in that person's voice, breathing, and general movement around the house. You might not get a hug, you might not get a single word, but you'll get a warm, solid weight settling against you, staying exactly where you are for as long as you actually need it, not asking for food or attention in return. For a lot of owners, that quiet, stubborn presence during the hardest moments ends up saying more than anything a cat could ever meow out loud. It doesn't always look dramatic, either. Sometimes it's as simple as a cat who usually sleeps across the room choosing, on one specific night, to curl up right against your back instead, without either of you needing to explain why. If you've ever felt like your cat somehow knew, you genuinely weren't imagining it. Number 4. Following you everywhere. Kitchen, hallway, even the bathroom with the door pulled shut. Your cat is right there, every single time, without fail. Most people just joke that their cat is being nosy, and honestly, there's some real truth buried in that. But it runs a little deeper than simple curiosity. Cats that view the entire house as their own territory often patrol it in a loop throughout the day, checking in on familiar spots, and since you're technically part of that territory too, keeping an eye on your whereabouts becomes part of the daily job description. It's not really about whatever specific thing you happen to be doing in any particular room. It's a cat who has quietly decided that tracking where you are actually matters to them, undignified as that sometimes is for both of you, especially at certain moments neither of you particularly wants an audience for. Some cats will even wait, sitting patiently right outside the door, rather than wander off to do anything else in the meantime. Number 3. Sleeping with you, lights out. You're drifting off to sleep, and somewhere in the dark, your cat quietly settles in against your side or right up on your chest. Most people simply chalk this up to warmth, nothing more complicated than that. It's not just about staying warm, though. Lying down to sleep is one of the most vulnerable things any animal can possibly do. It's exactly when predators are most likely to strike in the wild, when awareness drops and reaction time slows. Choosing to do it pressed against you, night after night, without fail, is your cat actively deciding that you're safe enough to be completely unconscious right next to. Cats closely bonded to their person also tend to stay quietly attuned to that person's breathing and small movements, even while fast asleep themselves. That steady weight settling against you in the dark is a body that has already, quietly, made up its mind. This is the safest place in the entire house. Number 2. Purring, not just happiness. Here's something most owners never expect to hear. Cats don't only purr when they're happy and relaxed. They purr when they're injured. They purr while giving birth. Sometimes, heartbreakingly, they purr when they're dying. The low, steady frequency of a cat's purr is widely believed to work as a kind of self-soothing mechanism, a sound their body reaches for instinctively under real stress or genuine pain, not only during moments of pure contentment on your lap. Veterinarians have watched frightened, physically hurting cats purr steadily through an entire exam, purely as a way to calm their own nervous system down in real time. So if your cat has ever purred through a scary trip to the vet, with your hand resting gently on their side the whole time, that sound wasn't only about comfort for them in that moment. It may have been something closer to survival. And somehow, without asking, they let you be part of it anyway. Number 1. The 2 a.m. Paw, it's 2 a.m. You're dead asleep, not moving, completely unaware. Suddenly, a paw presses gently into your chest, just resting there. You probably assumed this entire video that it was just habit or warmth, or your cat quietly claiming the good side of the bed for themselves. Here's what it actually is. Out of every warm spot in the entire house, the couch, the heater vent, the laundry basket, another family member's bed just a few feet away, your cat chose the one single place where their body is completely defenseless, right next to the one person they trust enough to be fully unconscious beside, night after night. That paw resting on your chest isn't random at all. It's a cat listening, without even realizing they're doing it, for the steady rhythm underneath. The same way they once listened for it at the very beginning of their life, when survival quite literally depended on staying close to someone bigger and safer than them. You didn't just adopt a pet somewhere along the way. Without a ceremony, without a single moment you could ever point back to, you became that someone. The one worth staying close to in the dark. So, out of all 15, how many did your cat actually check off? If it was 4 or more, you already knew, somewhere deep down, that you're their person. Now you finally know why, in detail instead of just feeling it. Which one of these 15 surprised you the most or hit closest to home? Maybe one you'd never actually questioned before today. Type the number in the comments below and tell us which cat in your life did it. I'll genuinely be reading every single one of them.